What's up, yo? This Hammer here again, back with another video. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded. Sorry about that, guys. Been kind of busy, but let's get into the video. So today I want to talk about something that kind of came across, which, in my opinion, represents the state that America is in. Represents, in my opinion, the possible future that Black Americans or Black folks could face, and just shows you how there is an agenda at play, right? Now, the video today is going to focus on illegal immigrants. And so, for those who may not know, right, due to the recent sort of influx of illegal immigrants, the quote unquote caravans, right, a lot of illegal immigrants have been transported over to New York, right, all across the country. And there's a story that's coming out now, right, in New York, which is that illegal immigrants were essentially transported over there and they were put in hotels, okay? Let me say this again. People who illegally crossed the border were taken up, brought to New York, and put in luxurious hotels. But which of course cost the city millions of dollars, right? But now these illegal immigrants, right, they're trying to move them from these hotels into other areas, right? Places that are less luxurious. These illegal immigrants are now protesting because they don't want to leave the hotel. I want you guys to think about what's happening here, right? You have people who took up the bags, left their home country, came here illegally, were flown out to New York, put into hotels, right, on taxpayers' dime. And now that the government is saying, hey, we're going to take you out of these hotels and put you somewhere else, they're literally protesting not being in hotels. And some of them are saying that they have the right to be in luxury apartments. But see, the reason why this story shocked me, because think about the entitlement you must have for you to get up one morning, cross another country illegally, and then demand that country to put you in luxurious hotels while the taxpayers pay for it. And the crazy part is, compare how these illegal immigrants are being treated compared to Black folks. Because if you think about it, right, whenever we have a conversation about reparations for Black Americans, right, you always have individuals saying, well, that was too long ago, we can't afford it. But yet they have no problem paying for illegal immigrants to fucking be in hotels. But before I keep going on to the story, let's put a video.
Evening at 11 o'clock. I'm Sandra Bookman.
And I'm Joe Torres. First, that breaking news. A large crowd of asylum seekers protesting in Midtown Manhattan tonight.
This is happening outside the Watson Hotel on 57th Street. They say they've been locked out of that hotel where they have been housed, and they're being forced to move to the Brooklyn Marine Terminal.
Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang on the scene with the latest details. Lucy.
Well, Joe and Sandra, we have outcry tonight after the city started moving migrants out of this hotel. Now, Mayor Adams announced a week ago plans to set up a 1,000-bed facility in Brooklyn for the migrants, and this weekend they began moving men there, but not without controversy. Desperation and fear spilled out onto West 57th Street tonight outside the Watson Hotel.
It's hypocritical to think that immigration is only for privileged countries and not for everyone.
These migrants housed here since they were bused to New York City are getting on the bus again. This time we're told they're being transferred to the Brooklyn.
Yeah, so this is where they're being transferred to, right? In my opinion, this is a fair place, right? Some beds here and there, right? Because look, you're in the country illegally. You shouldn't even be here, right? You literally cross the border. It's not the same thing as someone, getting a visa. You literally cross the border. But this is what's so crazy about this conversation. I can bet you the vast majority of people who immigrate to America, legally immigrate, they're not being sent to hotels, right? A lot of them have to, work low-income jobs, get a basic as apartment. These illegal migrants were literally flown out to New York and put in the most expensive hotels, and they're complaining that the state is telling them, we're not going to pay for y'all to be in hotels. It's ridiculous.
Cruise terminal in Red Hook, where cots have been set up, except they don't want to go.
They don't want to go. You're in another country. But see, this is what I'm talking about, right? And I had this conversation, which is that you think about how Black people are treated, not just here in America, but internationally. And then you compare that to how other groups are viewed, right? When you had when you had the Ukraine war begin, right? And when Russia decided to essentially invade Ukraine, there were a lot of a lot of Black African students living there, right? And when they were trying to flee, right, they were literally blocked from boarding the trains and the buses, right? They were literally treated inhumanely, even though they were students there for years. But here we have a situation where folks can literally cross America illegally, be flown out to New York, be put into hotels, and then when the government says we're not going to pay for y'all to be in a hotel, they're literally pro and say that we're not going to leave. But see, y'all, I have told Black folks this for a very long time, right? Latinos are not your friends, okay? You guys need to remember, okay? When Hispanics come here, right, they sort of have this image of being, low-income migrants from impoverished countries. So for us, we assume that they're going to naturally relate to Black folks, relate to the Black diaspora. But that's not true. And the reason is because when you look at the history of South America, Latin America, right, in Latin America, right, because they were colonized by mainly the Spaniards and the Portuguese, right, and most of the indigenous population was erased, in South America, there is a racial hierarchy. And the racial hierarchy is clear, where on top you have white Hispanics, right below them you have mestizos, and then right below them you have Black Latinos and the indigenous population. And so what ends up happening is that the indigenous people and the Black Latinos are treated like shit, like they're at the bottom. The mestizos make up the majority of South America, but they play a subordinate role to the white Hispanic. That's the reason why most of these countries, right, most of the people that are mestizos, but when you got a government, the people who are in power are typically white Hispanics. And so the reason why it matters because when these people come to America, a lot of folks, especially Black folks, foolishly assume that because they're coming from impoverished countries, because of the Monroe Doctrine, because they were colonized by quote unquote Europeans, they're gonna naturally allow Black folks. But that's not what happens, right? Because they're coming from countries where they like these mestizos, most of them are still right in the home countries, right? They tend to quote unquote play a subordinate role to white Hispanic, and so when they come here, they identify themselves as white and they try to cater to the quote unquote white majority. And another thing you got into in a sense, another thing that Black folks in a sense that look, in addition to that, another reason why Latinos cannot be your friends because they're literally being used as a proxy class. Okay, white Americans are actively, on purpose, importing these people for cheap labor, but to also use them, right, as a demographic wedge against Black folks. That's the reason why they get classified as white. That's the reason why they're treated more equal. I'm like, think about what's happening right here, right? Think about this, right? The U.S. government is treating illegal immigrants more humanely than Black Americans who've been here from the beginning. Think about this, for example, because in New York, right, there are lots of Black people who are homeless. In California, all across the country, the government is literally treating illegal immigrants more humanely than they treat Black folks in America. They will take these illegal immigrants who broke the law by stepping into the country, send them to New York, and put them into a hotel. But when it comes to the Black folks, right, who've literally built the country, whenever they ask for something, they're told, stop complaining. That's how you know these illegal immigrants being brought here is being done on purpose for demographic reasons and for cheap labor, but to also be used as a proxy class against Black folks. And what's so funny? This actually reminds me of a YouTuber called Chem123. So for those of you that know, right, over the weekend, I essentially hopped on a panel with a YouTuber's name by the name of Chem123, right? This is a Hispanic male, right? A Hispanic male YouTuber. And I swear to God, his entire channel is literally about him complaining about black folks. His entire channel is literally about him complaining about black men fucking Hispanic women, and also about the fact that black Americans or black folks get so much praise. And see, one thing I kind of heard from this dude is that a lot of Hispanics hate the fact that black people get so much attention in America. A lot of Latinos hate the fact that black folks get so much stuff. And a lot of them are willing to side with the white majority to quote unquote be the center. So they will say black and brown were friends, as long as a small demographically, but as soon as they become the large majority, right, it becomes Latino first, right? It's no longer black and brown. And so a lot of these folks who you think are your friends, secretly, they despise the fact that black folks get some recession, and they would like more focus on Latino and Hispanic neighborhoods, even if it's at the expense of black folks. And we see this happening everywhere, every other group, from Asians to Hispanics to Middle Easterners, right? When they come to America, they choose to be a proxy class to the white majority. They choose to be a proxy class against black folks, even against black immigrants, not because they necessarily hate black people, because they understand that, hey, in a society, white people are the top, right? And so the way to succeed is to align with them. And so, because white Americans are actively importing these people, and they know that these mestizos have a tendency of, quote unquote, playing a subordinate role to, quote unquote, white people, hey, if we bring them here, they're going to be much more willing to side with us. That's the reason why they're getting all this treatment. Where they're literally allowed to complain about the fact that they're not being put in hotels, despite the fact that they're illegal immigrants. But let's keep going.
Pedro Duran, originally from Venezuela, arrived in New York in mid-October. He was already bused to Brooklyn, but said it was so cold he came back to the Watson, except he is no longer welcomed here.
It's not humane. This is not the way you treat human beings. They want to go back into their rooms at the Watson Hotel. This is what they think of as their home right now. This is their home right now.
According to
a hotel? What? A hotel? Okay.
the mayor's spokesman, plans are to, quote, transition the hotel to meet the large number of asylum-seeking families with children. These single men are being sent to Red Hook. The city says, quote, more than 42,000 asylum seekers have arrived in New York City. More keep coming, and resources are already overstretched. Volunteer advocates argue the city should put these migrants in some of the most expensive pieces of real estate in the world.
Oh, y'all, did you just hear that? They're saying that even though they're illegal immigrants in the country, they have the right to literally be placed in the most expensive properties in New York. But black folks who are in that city or in that area are in poverty. Many of them are homeless. Nobody cares about them. Stop complaining. Pull yourself by your own bootstrap. But these illegal immigrants, no. They need to be put in the most expensive territories. I mean, wow.
He could have easily, along with Governor Hochul, opened up all the vacant luxury apartments. We are on 57th Street right now.
You think you deserve? What gives you the right to be in luxury apartments? You literally crossed the border. Oh, bro. What? So you have more of a right to a luxury apartment than American citizens, than even black Americans. I'm like, wow.
This is Billionaires Row. Half of the super towers on this street are empty.
And they're not your property. Like, it's like, bruh, imagine black folks, right, going into a wealthy white neighborhood and say, well, all of these properties are empty. Give it to. But here's the problem, right? We already know why. Okay, black people can do that because they're the underclass in America. So you will have folks saying, "Stop complaining, pull yourself by your own bootstrap. But these mestizos can come to New York and demand luxury apartments, and you will actually have white liberals backing them. Oh my God.
Of course, that begs the question, who would pay for all those luxury apartments? City Hall insists the facilities at Brooklyn Cruise Terminal will provide the same services as every other humanitarian relief center in the city, and that families with children need a place to call home, too. City Hall blames outside agitators for causing a scene out here tonight. Clearly, no easy answers.
Wow, man, it's just it's this is truly crazy to me, because this does not look. I don't care about everyone else in the city. My focus is black folks in America and the black diaspora. This does not look good, because we already know that Hispanics are like, they're going to, like, they already are the largest minority, right? They're going to be one of the biggest groups in America. And if they're getting these kinds of privileges while they are legal citizens, if they're getting this kind of privileges while being illegal immigrants, I can't imagine the amount of privileges white people are going to give them when they actually attain citizenship. And when you had Chuck Schumer talking about how he wanted to give citizenship to the millions of illegal immigrants here, I believe him. I think that's the next step. And once that happens, this black and brown coalition is fucking dead, because they will let you know, hey, we don't need you niggas anymore. Okay, it's not black and brown power, it's brown power. But anyway, y'all, guys in the chat, tell me what you guys think about this. Do you agree with it? What's your thoughts? And with that being said, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hammer out. And by the way, guys, don't worry. I know I've been gone for a while. I'm definitely gonna try to upload more videos, put out more content. I'm a little busy. With that being said, hammer out.